Yo, 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 what is up, people? In this video, I'm going to explain to you why I do not buy branded supplements or proprietary blends, and why I prefer to buy the raw powders and extracts. However, in the interest of fairness, I have listed the pros and cons of both. The reason I'm making this video is because I have been watching a lot of More Plates, More Dates videos lately. He's great. He's amazing. He's like he's a gem, is what we would say. The dude is like he's one of my favorite YouTubers now. I didn't used to watch his videos, but like since I started doing TRT and I started like looking into that kind of stuff a little bit more, I did begin to watch a lot of his videos, and the guy is like just so smart. Not really smart. I mean, I guess he is smart also, but he's very logical, and he speaks. This is my favorite thing probably about him. He speaks in literal, like he describes things literally. He might be the only YouTuber that I know who describes things literally, and it's like, oh, he said that exactly the way that you're supposed to say it. Anyway, whatever. The guy is very smart, knows a ton about supplements, a ton about steroids, a ton about all this stuff. And I was trying to, because he does have a supplement line that he promotes, Gorilla Mind and Gorilla Mode. I haven't tried these things. I've seen clips where he briefly mentions the like the ingredient list, how much of each ingredient is in each one. And this is something that like I've thought of doing myself, but I always kind of ran into an ethical issue where I was like, yeah, I could make my own supplement and sell it to people, but I don't believe in buying proprietary blends. So then how could I sell it to somebody? You know what I'm saying? So I made this video to kind of like reconcile that in some way, if that makes sense. Anyway, so what's the issue? I guess we'll go over it right now. So let's talk about branded supplements, and let's talk about the cons first. So here's the thing with branded supplements. They're convenient, I guess. Well, let's just go down the list. Okay. So what are branded supplements or proprietary blends? It's basically like where you buy a name brand mixture of ingredients designed to fulfill a specific like need or something in you know, to help you achieve a certain goal. Pre-workout, for example, that's what I would consider a branded supplement, right? All of these, like, what is the one that Joe Rogan, Alpha Brain or something? That's a branded supplement. It's really just a mixture of a bunch of fucking herbs that you could all buy individually for cheaper if you wanted. I don't know. Anyway, that's what a branded supplement is. Let's get into the cons. So, number one, the exact dosage is indeterminable. You are not going to know how much of each thing is in each little pill that you take. There are two potential reasons for that. Number one, it could be underdosed. I just wrote ethics here. Like, the supplier could just not be putting as much as they say they're putting in there. And like, who the fuck is going to know, really? Honestly, like, they make a bazillion bottles of this stuff and a bazillion pills. Like, what are the odds that anybody is going to check them and be able to determine it and check enough of the bottles to see that it's actually a chronic issue and not just related to the second issue, which is hotspots, right? So the way that this works, what they'll do is they'll take all the ingredients that they're going to put in whatever pill it is, and they put it into a giant container and they mix it up, right? And the idea is that no matter how well you mix it up, you're never going to have a perfectly even mix of all of the ingredients everywhere, so that when you put them into the capsules, you're going to have what's called hotspots. You might have one pill that has more of one ingredient, another pill that has more of another ingredient. So, you know, could be an issue, right? I guess with things like pre-workout, this is somehow like taken care of in some way, because that's just a pure powder in a container. And I'm not sure if they're mixing all of the powders together or if they somehow create, yeah, I guess that is what they would be doing, right? I'm not really sure actually how that stuff is made. Like, are they somehow flavoring, like, are they combining caffeine and, you know, beta alanine and all that stuff into one like chunk? You know what I mean? And then mixing all the chunks together in an even amount. I don't think that's how it works. I think they mix all the substances independently of one another and then add some flavoring. I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Regardless of that, you cannot change the relative dose of the ingredients in proprietary blends. So let's say you're taking something with 10 ingredients and you really like one ingredient and you really don't like another ingredient. Well, you're fucked, basically, because it's already all mixed together anyway, so you can't change it. The reason I thought of this is because in one, like he has a product, it's called, I don't remember which one it was. It's like one of the pre-workouts, and it has some good stuff. And then it has 375 milligrams of caffeine per serving. 375, that's a lot of caffeine, you know? That's a lot. Like a cup of coffee has like, depends what kind of coffee it is, between 70 to like 120. That's like 3 cups of coffee at once. You know? I don't know. It's just strange that like he's not a dumb guy. Why would you put so much caffeine in there? I don't know. Whatever. And then another con is that you don't learn what ingredient has what effect on your body. So if you are taking all of this stuff mixed together, if you're taking Alpha Brain, for example, or Gorilla Mind, you don't know what ingredient in Alpha Brain or Gorilla Mind, whatever, is doing what for you. You're just taking all of them at the same time. So like maybe you want a little bit more you know, I don't know, endurance and a little bit less jitteriness. Well, too bad. You just paid $50 for a bottle. You can't do that. You know what I mean? You can't like take half a pill. It doesn't work like that. You're stuck with whatever blend that you get. So you're like dependent on whoever designed the formula, that they somehow have picked the right formula for you in whatever unique circumstance you happen to be doing it in, right? I'm not saying they don't work. I'm not saying they're always bad, but like, I don't know. I just don't, I prefer to be able to control like exactly how much of each thing that I'm getting. Okay, now let's talk about the cons of raw powders, right? Well, actually, let's talk about the pros of branded supplements. So number one, no thinking required. You buy it, you take it, that's it, you're done. You don't need to do any research about like this ingredient or that ingredient. Like you just don't need to. You see the colorful packaging, the price is acceptable to you, you make the purchase and you take the pill at the determined time, pre-workout, fucking after workout, whatever. So there's definitely something to be said about that if you do not want to learn about this stuff in general. Me personally, when I discovered the like wide world of supplements and biohacking and all that other shit, I was like, oh, wow, there's a lot of interesting stuff here. I kind of want to know what all of these things do independently of one another. I think I'm just going to take my time and try every single one and pick the ones I think work the best. But that's just me. I realize that that's probably not most people. Most people just want to like be like, just tell me what to do. This one? Okay, how much? $50? Fine, give it to me, you know? So I guess you are satisfying a need. Good for beginners as well. You know, I didn't start out buying these fucking raw powders. That was like further along in my journey for sure. Definitely bought my fair share of all kinds of pre-workout, you know, whatever, Jack 3D, like what are the other ones? NO Explode, whatever, like all the like old school ones that I guess are still around in various forms. So yeah, definitely if you're a beginner, you want to get a little boost. I'm not saying no, you have to go and research every single powder individually. No, of course not. I guess that's for a little bit more, you know, people have been around a little bit longer. You can definitely go and buy a pre-made formula if you want, if you don't want to think about it. And then it doesn't require learning, kind of touched on that, and acceptable for basic goals, right? Like pre-workout, for example. So if you have something, if you're like, I just want something to give me a boost before I go to the gym, you don't need to research fucking 50 different things in order to figure out what the best thing is. You can just go buy a pre-workout and you'll be all right. There is, I guess you could make the argument that like you could pick, if you come up with a like specific goal in mind of what you want this formula to do, you can create the formula like geared towards that. And then I guess it's just a convenience factor and also a cost factor as well. But of course, like people want to make money. So, you know, can't blame them for that. All right, let's talk about the cons of raw powders and extracts. Requires a scale. All right, so that's kind of one of the problems with buying raw powders or an extract is that they give you a fucking bag of powder. You know, instead of buying a bunch of capsules or a proprietary blend, you pay 20% of the price and they send you a fucking Ziploc bag of powder. So it's kind of inconvenient. Oh, I should have put another thing on here. The taste sometimes is fucking unbearable. Wow. That's definitely another one of the cons for sure. Requires a scale in many cases. So a lot of the times you will find yourself getting your Ziploc bag of fucking shady powder and measuring out an exact amount of how much you want in, you know, whatever you're taking. Requires a specific knowledge about each substance, or requires specific knowledge about each substance. Like, you're going to need to know what every single thing does, or you should know, I guess. You shouldn't just buy random powders and take random amounts, like, obviously, right? You should know what you are taking, really, I guess. Like, that's kind of goes without saying. You don't want to take too much of, you know, there's some Yohimbe here on my desk, right? And like, they come in 500 milligram capsules. But I guarantee you, if you take a 500 milligram capsule, you're going to have a bad fucking 3 hours ahead of you. You're not going to feel good. It's going to be bad. So you got to know that stuff ahead of time. Otherwise, you know, you make a mistake, you take too much, and you feel bad. Next one, it is inconvenient to manage multiple containers. So if I showed you my desk over there, or my little nightstand, there are multiple containers of powders and a scale and pill bottles everywhere. It's inconvenient. It's fucking annoying to have all of those. I'm, you know, been in Vegas for 3 months now, probably going to stay here a bit longer. But when I was traveling a lot, those pill bottles and containers, they took up a sizable amount of space in my backpack. It was very annoying. It was like, this is not fun. As I'm making this video, I'm kind of like convincing myself to just make a proprietary blend of all my supplements. Inconvenient to replace each substance as it runs out. So that's another thing, right? You buy a couple of proprietary blends, branded supplements, and you know, you buy them, and like when they run out, you buy more. Easy, right? Not complicated. With this, with my setup, it's like, okay, I have creatine, agmatine, tribulus, phenibut, you know, fucking Nuopept, adrafinil. I've got like all this shit, and it's like, oh, just ran out of adrafinil, or like I'm running low, gotta buy more. Oh, agmatine's running a little low, gotta buy more. So it's just annoying, right? It's inconvenient. To replace each substance. Okay, so what are the pros? Why do I even do this in the first place? Although I might actually make a proprietary blend. I just kind of convinced myself to do it. What are the pros? Number one, it's cheaper. Okay, so that is a major consideration for people who want to experiment with a lot of different substances. It is cheaper. Okay, if you just buy, well, I guess if you only buy a few proprietary blends and like, you know exactly which ones you like, and like that's all you take, maybe costs are not that much cheaper. But I'm the type of person, like, when I place a new order, I'm going to order a couple things that I haven't tried before because I want to see what they do. And that's how I've like discovered all of these things. And that's how I know what all of the different ones do, is because I buy the raw powders, which are cheap enough to allow me to experiment. Number two, you know exactly how much you're taking. So let's say you buy a proprietary blend and it doesn't, like, it has an effect that you don't like. You don't know why that is happening. That's number one. Number two is that it's possible that you are taking an underdosed proprietary blend from one of the ingredients, and you don't even know that it's underdosed because there's so much other shit in there anyway, and you don't even know what it's doing for you, really. More likely to be correctly dosed and not fake. When you order one single ingredient, if you order a proprietary blend with 10 ingredients, it's not, I mean, it's easier, I guess, for them to be like, oh yeah, there's, you know, 2 grams of agmatine in here, definitely, for sure. But really they put like 750 milligrams in there, or 500 or something like that. So anyway, that's less likely to happen when you just buy a single ingredient. Also, you can adjust the dosages as you need. So if, like, let's say, for example, you know, I was taking 300 milligrams of adrafinil and I found that to be like a little bit harsh on my stomach, so I dropped it down to 150. Another good one is phenibut, right? If I'm taking a certain amount of phenibut and I feel like I want to take less and start tapering, I don't have to taper in large chunks as I would have to if I was taking a proprietary blend with phenibut. I think there are proprietary blends that have phenibut, right? Or is that illegal? I'm not sure. And you will learn much more about the effects of each substance. So that is also very important, right? You want to learn what's in all of these things. Although again, now that I think about it, I feel like the end game, and you never really stop learning, right? It's not like anyone will ever stop learning on their journey of learning things. There's an infinite amount of things you can learn. There's new stuff coming out all the time. But you will learn much more about what everything does. But honestly, like at the end of this video, I'm kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, well, the stuff that I take pretty much the same amount of it every day. Like I'm starting to hone in on the sweet spots for all of these like supplements that I take. And it would be really nice to be able to take a flavored compound of something that doesn't taste like ass and not have to manage all these fucking stupid containers. But anyway, that's why I don't buy branded supplements or proprietary blends. That may change in the future based on this information. Some of you might want to do the raw powder extract route. Some of you might want to just do the branded supplement route. And I would honestly say, unless you are a freak and you just want to know about every little thing so you can kind of get that extra 10% edge, you're probably better off buying a branded supplement. I haven't taken too close of a look at More Plates, More Dates' video or supplements. I just remember because he was kind of pitching them a little bit in the end of one of his videos. And I just remember that 375 milligrams caffeine. I was like, damn, that's a lot of fucking caffeine. Cool. Let me know what you think about that. Leave me a comment. Peace.